Hey Flosstube, it's Flosstube number 11. I think it's the end of June, don't know what date it is, 29th I think. But anyway, I haven't introduced Flosstube to Mr. Puff. Now this is Mr. Puff. He's like my most favourite animal in the whole world. He's a little bearded dragon, a western bearded dragon. And as you can see, I know that a lot of people in America and Europe have bearded dragons, but the western variety is much smaller than what you guys get over there. And even the eastern states of Australia, whoops, have the big ones. But us in Western Australia, we get the little tiny ones. And he's 6 years old and he wants to go play, but he's my stitchy buddy. He's gorgeous. Hey Flosstube, got lots of information today. Normally I don't do a video for every second month, but I've had some time this week and the inclination to do a video, so I'll do my usual thing, but at the end of this I'm going to talk a little bit about the Mermaid stitch along that was announced last week, but we'll get to that at the end. And I've got this out so I can go through any questions that were asked in the group and see if I can answer as many as I can without giving too much away. It's not really that I want it to be a mystery, I just don't want to give too much information away just yet until I have the final product in my hand from the designer. So that's how we're working it. Okay, so to start off, let's just do our normal thing. If you watched the last video, you would have seen at the end, because of all the problems I had with that video, I had a FFO that I'd done last month, that I'd finished last month, and I just put snapshots in at the end of the last video. So here is it in more detail. I finished the seahorse, as everybody knows from a couple of videos ago, but my kids had these frames with this artwork with their names in them, and they didn't want them anymore because they'd had them so long. So we took the artwork out, kept the frames, and it was perfect for the seahorse. So that's a home job, all finished and framed, and we'll go in the spare room when we get my son's room painted and all his stuff's then put back in his room, and we start working on the cross stitch wall. So yeah, I wanted to just get this one in because the last video was just a mess, and this I hope is a lot better. That's the only FFO I have, but I have 2 finishes in the recent weeks, so they're not framed yet. I just don't want this to fall down. Stay. So here we go. I have finished The Sleigh by Nora Corbett, and it is, I just want to get up close and see if we can get the beads. I loved this, absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. Anything with a little bit of sparkle and the bling of the beads, I'm up for that. Really enjoyed it. I will get this one professionally framed because I really like it. I substituted the Krynic though. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up. I substituted the Krynic for Petite Treasure Braid. I'm going to see if I can get in there and you can see the sparkly thread in there. It's not really showing up in the red, but the red, there's some sparkle through the red ribbon as well. Yeah, I prefer to work with Petite Treasure Braid than Cryonic. So whenever I can, I substitute for the closest colour. So finish number 1. Finish number 2. The 6 Wives of Henry VIII. All done. I actually have a frame here that has a really old house in it that I think I might take the house out and use the frame for this because it kind of looks medieval. I'm hoping that will work, and I'm hoping this will actually fit in it. I have a feeling the frame's a lot bigger than that, might be a lot bigger than the actual design. So even if I have heaps of fabric at the sides, I'm not really fussed about. But I'm hoping this fabric doesn't kind of sit within the frame thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, because it is quite large, but I'm hoping this will fit. And if it fits, I'm going to use that frame for that. So, and again, I chose to go with beads over French knots, just for something different, just to make mine a little bit different. And I stuck with all the colours, the charted colours, but I chose to outline Catherine Howard's dress because the colour of her dress was so similar to the actual fabric. So that's where she's a little bit different. I'm close to finishing a couple of others, but I'll show you those as we go through the WIPS. So there's some new starts as well. I'm just looking at my thing. I've had 3 new starts, so they'll be in here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that one for last, and we'll go to these. Okay, the Fantasy Sale, the Lakeside Linens Fantasy Sale. I have the pattern for May and I haven't started that yet, but I don't know if this has changed since the last video, because normally by now I would have that finished, but I concentrated on the Sleigh and the 6 Wives of Henry VIII because they were so close to being finished. So the June one is due out any day now. So what I might do is when I might knock those both over at once, and then that will be finished as well. Well, the designs will be, then I'll just have to work on the border. So yeah, I don't think I've done anything else since the last time I've shown that. I'm not sure, because usually I just wait for them to be finished before I show them, like each little design. I have done more on the carousel horse. I'm starting over onto the front part of the design now, so I'm working on this. Now this one, I should have left this one to last. I'm going to come back to this, so I'm going to keep this to the side. I'm going to come back to that one. The next one, I should have had these all out of the bags ready. But, you know, you don't. You just grab your pile of stuff and start the video. This is a new start. I don't think this was in the last video. I think I might have shown it as a purchase or haul. But this is the Needleworker by Little House Needleworks. That is what it will look like. And that is what I got done in 1 week. So I'm guessing another stitching week of this one and it will be done. So I'm using Gold Digger fabric for that one. All of the fabrics are Colour Cascade fabrics, and I didn't even mention them. So this is Gold Digger Old Map Style, so it looks like old paper on 28 count opal, which is what I prefer to use, and I'll try and use all the time. I don't often use plain fabrics, but when I do, it's usually because I wanted to use 25 count, but now 25 count comes in the opal as well. So just about everything I do is going to be on opal. And this is Silver Springs by Colour Cascade Fabrics. So yeah, I love this, and I'm using the threads that come in the kit because this actually comes with all the threads that are required, so you don't need to go out and purchase them separately. It all comes together, which is fantastic because I don't have a stash of classic colourworks. I've got every single DMC, I've got loads of Chronic and loads of Petite Treasure Braid, but I don't have a stash of classic colourworks or Weeks or any of that stuff. So it was good that I didn't have to go purchase them separately. The next one, this was definitely in the haul from last video. I'm just going to pull this out as well. I started on the main street. So the first little house is done. The little, the flower shop. And I have since got the second design, and the third one's on its way. You can pretty much, if you know you stitch on things on a weekly basis, you could pretty much knock one out a week. That's pretty much what I did. They're not huge, they're not confetti heavy. So if you really get into it and you have the time, I mean, I only have time to stitch of a night, and I get a few hours in of a night. Sometimes I stay up way too late, but that's the only time I have, so I have to sacrifice my sleep for stitching. Who else does that? I think everybody does. Okay, this one, I don't even know if it's in here. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's here. As you know, I pull out an old project to work on the weekends to try and knock it out and get it done. And the one that is out at the moment is Femina, which is the Beaded project. And I'm coming down around to the bottom part now. I have to admit, because I have been so busy, I have not stitched on this a lot, as much as I should have. I'm going to put it up like that so you don't get the glare. Are you still going to get the glare of that light? It's one of those things, because it's beaded and it's hard work, I really have to be in the mood for it. And because I'm behind in the fantasy sale, and I wanted to start the main street, this kind of got put aside. So although I have put some into it, it's not as much as what should have been done. Like that whole bottom section pretty much should be done by now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till it comes around when I get these other things out of the way, and maybe spend a whole week on it to make up for it. Because really I don't have a lot to do, and it will be finished soon. It's just the time needed to spend on it. So, and my favorite, which I'm working on actually this week, I shouldn't say my favorite because I say that about every single one while I'm working on it. I'm not going to take it out of the Q snaps actually, because I don't need to, but Death by Cross Stitch, I'm starting on page 2 Get it there, get the glare out. So not a lot done, but I love this so much. I just think it looks awesome. And I know I said when I first did this that I'd like to do it on the opposite, so I'd like to do it on a hot pink fabric and black thread, but Long Dog Samplers have since released the pattern, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, called Life After Death. So I figure, why not do that in the opposite colour? So I'll do that on the Dreams fabric, which is that colour fabric, and black thread. And then I'll have like a matching pair, but not so matching, if that makes sense. Like, you guys will know what I mean by that. So yeah, I love this. It's a really fun stitch. It just changes up all the time, which I like, and I like the patterns. So I don't think, like, I don't get bored when I'm stitching it. Like, I can get bored with the beaded project because you're just doing the same thing over and over again. But because you got to follow all these different patterns and all this, I just really enjoy it. So that is that. I haven't worked on any of my other old stuff. So they're all the WIPs that I've worked on, and I've been pretty good when it comes to, I do have another one, another new start that's not here for some reason, but I did start Mermaid of the Pearls by Mirabilia, which is another mermaid, but there's not enough put into it to really be worth showing at the moment. So I'll leave that till next time, because hopefully I'll have done more by then, because I wanted to do a few mermaids to put in my bathroom, all on the same colour fabric. So yeah, but I'll show her next time. I don't think I've done any new fabrics since the last video, like colour wise, so I don't even have anything like that to show you. But I will go through. I don't have any haul either. I haven't bought anything since the last video. I don't think I have. I think the last thing I got haul wise was the Amberlin fabric, which was in the last video. Going back to this, I wanted to go back to this because I want to talk about the stitch along, which I can't give too much away because I don't even have the whole entire design yet. I'm waiting for the designer to finish it for me, but the designer that's doing the mermaid sale is Shannon Christine, and as you all know and you've seen from my videos, I've been working on Shannon's carousel horse, and as you can see, Shannon loves to use everything I love to stitch with. So she loves the Krynic or the Rainbow Gallery. I always change it to Rainbow Gallery. Beads, which there aren't any in here yet, but all of those blank spaces all through there is going to be filled with beads. So this is the quality of the design. Although it's not going to be this design, you can get an idea of the quality of design that you're going to be getting with the sale, with the stitch along. It will be full of beads. I'm just trying to see if I've got a picture printed out of the final. There's a little part here which I will show you, but I've just got to fold it over so you don't see there's a little section that's of the stitched finish of the saddle by the looks of it. So you can see all those beads that are going to be packed in there. So that's the quality of the design that you're going to get with the sail. The fabric, oh, here's another one I can show you. This part of his head. So there's all beads all through the pole and through his mane and all the bridle. Lots and lots of beads through all the flowers. It's going to be gorgeous when it's finished. It will be a monthly sale, and it's all mermaids. So you're going to get a different mermaid each month, and there will be a monthly theme. So there will be something else unique to each month, which I'm not going to give away. There are loads of crystals, there are loads of beads, and there will be lots of metallic threads, because that's what I like. And I know it's not for everybody, and that's fine. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. You don't have to stitch it. If you do like it, join us and enjoy it. They will be delicate beads. Now, I've found a supplier, so I will be able to supply the beads, and I'll be able to supply the chronic or petite treasure braid if you prefer. So there will be embellishment packs available. I'm going to make it so you can either buy the whole entire embellishment pack for the whole year or every 2 months, because I don't want to do it monthly, because it's just not enough time to make sure you all have it. So if we do it little embellishment packs for 2 months at a time, then you're going to get you have it ahead of time, and it gives me time to get the next 2 months ready. If we do it monthly, if my supplier, if I have to order in more stuff, we could get behind, and we don't want that. But we'll work all those kind of details out when I get the actual supply list of what's needed. I'm just going to get this out because I know there was like hundreds of questions on this, and I'd rather answer them on the here. So I will just sign in and go to the page, and I'm just going to go through the questions that were asked and see if I can answer. I'm just going to find the post now. I should have had all this prepared, but no, that's not like me at all. On the run, people. Okay, here we go. Here's the post, and there's a lot of comments. So I know there's a lot of interest. What you will get is the first thing you'll get is a list of supplies needed. I'm going to have that available on the site at least 2 months before the sale starts, because this has a lot of beads and chronic and stuff like that. I think we need a bit of extra time for people to get stuff, because it's not a case of just buying DMC and a piece of fabric. I thought about this, and I'm going to start a separate group for the sale, and that is due to a lot of people. There may be people that are going to use other fabrics which are not Colour Cascade fabrics. So I don't want to clog up my main Colour Cascade group with pictures from the sale that aren't on Colour Cascade fabrics. Now, I have no problem with you using any fabric. That's fine. I understand people have a lot of fabric already in their stash, and it could be a way of cost cutting when it comes to the sale. I don't want people to feel like it has to be on a Colour Cascade fabric. I don't mind, but I don't want everything being posted in the main group, because it gets confusing for people. So, I mean, so we'll have a separate group for that, but I'm not going to start the group until I have everything from the designer and until I have a list and the products on the website. So you'll have plenty of time. Okay, so I'm just going to go through here. And that's what I said in this post as well, is that I will give plenty of notice as fabric and embellishment packs will be available. You will have the option of just buying the chart. You will have the option of buying the chart plus embellishments. You have the option of buying the chart, embellishments, and fabric. Each fabric price will be dependent on how the size for each count. So it's not like I'm going to have one count of fabric available. All the fabric will be available across all of the different counts, and I'm just trying to think, and because of all different counts, so they're all going to be different sizes, so therefore the fabric will be all different prices. I don't have a one price for all counts. All the different types of fabrics that I stock are different prices. So that's why it'll all be listed separately, and it'll all be in a drop down box on the website, so you'll be able to choose exactly what type of fabric you want. As for colours, that's a hard one, but what I might do, because the border is going to be the main colour really when you think about it. There's all going to be different colours all through each little section, but I might do overlays of just the border on different colours so you can get an idea of what's going to look good. I will advise, however, to stay away from yellows and the gold diggers, the beiges. Stay away from those colours until further notice. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking the mother of pearl ice dye would be perfect for this. I'm thinking the light blues and the watery colours. Think Mermaid. So think the watery colours, the light, but keep it light because there's going to be so much going on in the pattern itself. You don't want the crystals and the beads to be lost in the fabric. So I'm going to make an executive decision and say stay with the very light watery colours. I'm still just looking at questions. If you haven't seen Shannon Christine designs, if you have any cross stitch gold, world of cross stitching, go and have a look through your magazines because she designs for those magazines, and you've probably already got quite a lot, or you've seen quite a few of her patterns already. She also has a website and a Facebook group that you can check out as well, so you can kind of get an idea of the quality of what the design's going to be. This is the first time I've approached a designer in regards to a sale, so this is all new to me as well, and this is why we're working out the details as they go along. I don't have a firm date for when Shannon will be handing over the design, but she did say it would be towards the end of the month, which is soon, so hopefully not too long now. There's not a lot of questions, there's a lot of comments. And there's when will it start? I don't have a start date yet, and that's purely and simply due to the fact that I don't have the design yet. I have not seen the final product yet, and I will, when Shannon's done designing, I will have to go over it, check to make sure that it's what I want and what I asked for, and make sure it's all good, and then we'll go from there. and someone's written mermaids. Why does it have to be mermaids? I chose mermaids because when I was thinking about doing this, I was stitching Mirabilia mermaids. And I was also thinking about my mother of pearl ice dye fabric at the same time, and just I had this image in my head of what I wanted, and then Shannon's pattern that I'm stitching, the carousel horse, kept popping into my brain, and I just approached her and just sort of, out on the off chance, is this something that you would be willing to do? Now this was, I'll have to go back in the messages that I sent her, but this has to be like around this time last year. It was nearly a year ago. I kind of expected that maybe I would have the patterns by January this year, but that wasn't to be. So it was a while ago that I asked, but mermaids just to me at that point seemed the logical choice because of what I was stitching, because of the fabric I had in my mind and the design I had in my mind of where I wanted to go. Also, just a little tidbit, I've already booked in a sale for next year as well. So she's got a whole 12 months and it will be completely different to this. It will be a whole new, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a whole new, it's nothing to do with mermaids. It'll be completely different. But if you do this one and you like it, it will be full of bling and it will be full of metallics. We decided that we did not want to stick with the plain just DMC. I wanted to be different, and I wanted it to be something that I know that most of my customers already love to use and already love stitching with. You can mix it up. If you have a big stash of Mill Hill beads or Krynics, you don't have to buy the embellishment kits, you don't have to buy the new beads. You can make it your own color scheme when it comes to that. You make it your own completely. We're just gonna have fun with this. But yeah, this is chartered for Delica, and I have found a supplier finally. This is great for Chatelaine kit people too. I finally found a supplier that stocks them without expecting me to buy a kilo at a time. So we're good to go. What I might do though is I might, when I have the design and say about, hopefully about 3 or 4 weeks before I actually have it for sale, I might put up on the website a like a register your interest in the sale, because that will give me an idea then of how many bead packs and Krynics and all that kind of thing that I need to order in, so when it is ready to be sold, it's all there ready to go. And it will also give me an idea of how much fabric I'm going to need, because I'm guessing a lot of people are going to want the fabric as well, and I want to keep on top of that. So if I used to register your interest, that will give me an idea of how many people I need fabric for, what type of fabric, what count fabric you are going to want, and what color fabric you are going to want. That would be a really good idea. Might do that. Like, yeah, someone said here, if I did this, I'd have to substitute the metallics for something else. That's fine. Do that. Use DMC. Don't you just use the same color in DMC. Do what you like. It's yours. Every pattern that is out there does not have to be stitched exactly the way it's written on the bag.
What bag?
I'm doing a video.
You read the bloke that drove into the Mermaid police station this morning?
I heard about that. Silly bugger. Yeah, like anything that's written on the chart or on the kit bag, they're only suggestions. You do not have to do. If it says it's charted for 14 count, or they've stitched, like the front cover was stitched on 14 count such and such fabric, you don't have to go buy that exact fabric. If you prefer to stitch on 16 count or 28 count and you don't want that color, you can want a different color, do it. They're only suggestions, they're not law. So many comments. Another question, any chance of finding out the fabric we will need, because I want to put mine on layaway? I will have lay-by facility available. If you want to get the whole lot, the kit, the chart, the embellishments, you will be able to, I think what I'm going to do is I'll only make lay-by available if you buy like the whole 12 months embellishments. I'm not sure how I'm going to work that yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to, I don't think offering the embellishment as monthly packs is going to be any better financially, because you have to pay postage every 12 months. So it's going to actually add money to your overall spend. So we'll do it as a lay-by if you need it. And look, it's not going to be that expensive. Delicate beads, I'm going to buy in bulk, and so I will then bring that down to exactly what you need. So it's not going to be over the top expensive. Now, I know it's got Swarovski, I have trouble saying that word, crystals, but that doesn't mean thousands of dollars. Those crystals, even if you went and bought them yourself for only $3 or something like that each, or a pair, or sometimes there's 4 or 5 in a pack, they're not, even though it sounds expensive, they're actually not. And buying the delicate beads is actually cheaper than buying Mill Hill, because Mill Hill, you have a packet that you buy. So even if you only need 2 beads, you've got to buy the whole packet. Where Delicas, I can buy in bulk, and I can cut them down into little single packs of what is actually needed. So it won't be crazy expensive. And I'm just trying to think on the run here, like if we do embellishment packs for 12 months, that's going to work out really expensive. So I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to pay you postage. You're going to have to pay postage on that as well. So I would definitely recommend, if you're going to do the embellishment pack, to either lay-by it if you want to pay it off, or just buy it outright. But the charts will only be coming out monthly. If you choose printed, you will have to pay postage on each month. If you get PDF, you don't have to pay postage at all. One really important thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to take the time to do this, every single chart that goes out is going to have your name watermarked on it, the order number marked on it, and the date you purchased marked on it. Every single chart. Printed or PDF, it's going to have watermark with all of your details on it. And it won't be removable. So if you are thinking about putting it on a Chinese site, forget about it. Or go ahead and do it, but we're going to find out. I'm a bitch, I know, but that's just the way it is. I actually was given the stitch count the other day. That's not it. Okay, if you are interested in getting fabric ready, the stitch count of the design is 129 by 194. And I've worked it out. If you are going to stitch on 14 or 28 count, you need a 15-inch by 20-inch piece of fabric. That includes a 3-inch border. If you are going to stitch on 16 or 32 count, you need a 14 by 18-inch piece of fabric. I would not suggest going any of other counts, purely because there are beads in this. Now, if you go 28 count 1/1, the beads are not going to fit. And if you buy the embellishment pack, you're going to buy a whole heap of stuff that is not going to fit when you finish stitching. If you normally stitch on 18 count with mirabilias and you have experience with that and the beads do fit, go for it. I've given you the stitch count. You can work out what the fabric you need, but I wouldn't recommend going any other count because you need the beads to fit. This is stitching over 2. These measurements are obviously for 14 count, and 16 count. So you stitch over 2 on 28 count and over 2 on 32 count. And that's so each little square that's left over for beads is big enough for the bead to fit. That's why we do this. If you're not planning on using beads and you're going to use French knots, or you're going to change it up and just use DMC, stitch on anything you want. That's all I'm going to say about that until I can give a sneak peek. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to make it a mystery in the fact that you don't know what you're going to get, because I've told you, you're going to get mermaids every month. Every single month is a mermaid. That's all I'm telling you. It's not one big mermaid. You're going to get a border design. That's it. I think everyone has enough experience with that kind of thing to get an idea of where we're going with it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that you need to know. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to have everything on the website at least a couple of months, at least 8 weeks before we start. And I don't know when that's going to be, because I don't know when Shannon's going to give me the design. So I can't give you a date. But yeah, anything other than that, I think, you know, any more information, it'll come out as we go along. Any questions you have, ask, because it might be something I haven't even thought about yet, and that, you know, like, people want to know or need to know. When will a picture be available? When I get the design. I've got nothing to show you yet. I've seen a snippet, but that's it. So what I will do is, when I announce that it's all ready to go, I will do up a poster like I did with the announcement, and I will more than likely give you a little snippet of a sneak peek, rather than, I'm not going to give you the whole picture of the first mermaid or anything like that. I'll just give you a little snippet so you get an idea of where it's going. When will price info, etc. be available, please? As soon as I have the design. Because I can't even put prices up at the moment, because I don't know how many beads are needed. I don't know how many. I know how many. The only thing I know at the moment is the design size and the Swarovski crystals that are needed. I don't know the total amount of beads yet, because Shannon won't know that until she's finished the design completely. Now, we're not trying to, I just hope that answers any questions. And I'm not trying to be dodgy by hiding any information. I just want you to know that I don't know everything that's required yet, so I can't tell you. But I think by saying, look, you get a border design with sections, and each section is going to be a mermaid. That should be clear enough, I think. You know me, I'm not a fan of boring, so it's not going to be boring. I love beads, I love chronic, I love colour, thinking coloured hair. I love to colour my hair, so why would my mermaids not have coloured hair? Think outside the box, don't think normal. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the questions that I could see there. I can't say any more other than I can only give you details as I get them. I wanted to put the announcement out because Shannon let me know that it's close to being ready. That's it. as far as the sow is concerned. So I'm going to finish the sow thing. That finishes now. That's all I can say about that. Any more information will be released in the group as soon as I know. So I want to go back to just cross-stitching, my cross-stitching, me, no business. Back to me. I haven't been watching Flosstube, I have to admit. I am way behind. I am currently up to the end of May in people's videos that I've been watching. But that's because Netflix. I was never one for Netflix. We had Foxtel, which I don't know what the equivalent in the US or the UK is to that. I don't know. It's pay TV, basically. But the kids were all on Netflix and Stan and all those things for ages now, and I've only just discovered it. And oh, look, all these shows that were on 10 years ago that I started watching and I never bothered finishing watching them, or I lost interest in them all those years ago, I can now go back and binge watch. And if anybody watched Lost, you will know that their seasons ran for 25, 26 episodes per season, and there was 6 of them. So that's what I've been doing. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed watching that series from start to finish every single chance I got. I watched it while I was dyeing fabric. I watched it while I was cutting fabric. I watched it while I was packing orders. Sorry for the mistakes, guys. I loved it. I have to watch the last 2 episodes again because I watched those while I was finishing off the beading on the sleigh, and it's like the sleigh took over my brain. I couldn't I wasn't, as much as I knew that what was on the TV was really important and I need to watch it because it's the last episode, do you think I got any of it? Nah. I can't even remember. All I remember about the last episode is them all sitting in a church, and I don't know what happened. I have to go back and watch it again. But I'm going to go look after, now that I've finished that, and once I watch that last episode again, I'm going to go look for another old TV show to binge watch because I really enjoyed it. It was really good. But in the meantime, I'll catch up with Flosstube. So if you haven't seen any comments from me or anything like that, that's why. I'm way back in May when it comes to videos. I've watched a couple of current ones, and today I watched, while I was eating lunch before I got on here, Jimmy Flosstube's In the Pit, whatever, #1 with... Okay, I'm going to say it. I wrote a comment on the video. This is amazing and you're onto something, and you seriously need a weekly video. Skype all the Flosstubers and do an interview and ask them random shit. Just random questions. That's just like... I think personally that gave a whole new perspective to May. I think that it's going to give everybody a whole new perspective to that stitcher, because you can go anywhere with the questions, really, and it's going to give us parts of a person that we don't normally see, and I think that's fantastic. Please, Jimmy and Emily, do it. I say do it. I'll put my hand up for an interview. I think it would be hilarious. And I think everybody in the Flosstube world would be honoured to do it. I say go for it. So, yeah, that's what I've watched. And I'm so glad I came back to Flosstube and spotted that one. I haven't seen any other videos because I don't know what else is happening with everybody. I do want to say that we lost a very big cheerleader of all our Flosstube, all us Flosstube people, Beverly Evanga. I hope I say that name right. She passed away, and I mean, I knew that every single video I did, I knew I would get a comment from her and her little puppy dog Teddy. So, I mean, we're all going to feel that loss. And it's amazing how much we connect to people that we've never actually met, you know. We're putting ourselves out there, and every Flosstuber puts themselves out there for people to either like or not like. So when we get comments that are just so kind all of the time, we really take that to heart. I know a lot of people are very sensitive as well, and as much as they don't seem like it on the camera, some comments that are left for people are not so nice, and you don't know that could really hurt someone. They might not be as tough as they look, and might not be as tough as they think they are. So when you get someone like that I don't think she ever had a bad word or anything nasty to say about anybody. I think every single comment she left, she meant it, and it was always beautiful. So I guess please be nice. Just be nice to everybody. I think we could learn a lot from that. So, in saying that, I've now rambled on for 51 minutes, and guess what? I did not have one storage problem because I got a new phone. That shit me so much. I'm sorry, people. I know some people don't like swearing. That last video was so hard. I had to do it in like 10 sections, and it was only 20 bloody minutes. It drove me insane. I couldn't deal with that. No way. And the Galaxy Tab, I've only got one of the little ones, which I bought to do a Chatelaine because, I mean, I don't know. I'm frivolous, I suppose you could say. It'll come in handy. But it doesn't take video or photos as good as the iPhone. And I missed my iPhone, so I had to get a new phone. So I got one with a crap load more memory, and I made sure that I only put the apps on my phone that I absolutely use, and there's no apps on this one that are crazy. But I read a little article the other day, just out of interest for guys that, like you guys, that may still be going through that. I read this article because I'm a nerd about, on this website that I subscribe to, about people running out of storage. Now, this is a really common problem with app users, because what the problem is, it's not our phones and it's not what we're doing with our phone, it's the developers of all the apps are constantly updating the apps. So these apps that we put on our phone are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and taking up much more storage than they did when we initially put them on. So that's why we're thinking, what's going on? I clear all my photos, yet I still don't have enough memory. It's because of that apps keep updating. And I read somewhere that Instagram and Facebook are the worst because they are like 500 times the size of what they were when we first put them on our phones. So that's why I said in one of my videos, I'm going to have to get rid of Instagram off my phone because it's taking up like nearly my whole memory. It was ridiculous. So there you go. So if you've got a whole heap of apps on your phone that you don't even use or you very rarely use, I mean, I know we all have to have Facebook, we all have to have Instagram. I don't do Snapchat, or Snapchat, I don't do Twitter. Get rid of them. Just get rid of them, because that's what's taken up all of your storage. And you know, they're constantly still updating. If you've got auto updates on in the background, they're still auto updating even though you're not using them and taking up all your storage. So clean your phone out. You don't have to clean it out of photos, just clean your apps out. That has nothing to do with stitching, but there you go. That's just my advice for today. But I can't think of anything else. Oh, the retreat. The retreat is coming up soon. I'm so excited. I'm not going to show you, but I've been collecting, because I'm like a bowerbird, things for the people that are coming to the retreat. And I don't want to have your average everyday gift bag. My gift bag is not going to be what you would expect to have in a gift bag at a stitching retreat. Mine's going to be completely different. So to the girls that are coming, and I'm telling you, that's closing off soon. The retreat's being closed off. So if you were thinking about it, if you watch this and you're thinking about it, get in the next week. Yeah, you're going to get a great gift bag. Because I like stuff. And I figured that, hey, if I like this kind of stuff, you guys probably do too. So yeah, and I don't want it to be just fabric and floss and charts. There's so much more that we can do. So yeah, I'm going to try. I don't really like doing the every 2-month Flosstube. I need to go back to doing it a bit more regularly because I really miss it when I don't do it. And things have quieted down for me now after that sale. I know they're going to get busy again, but while I've got the time, I'll chuck a video in. I want to try and keep it more regular, and I don't want to make it all about the business. I want this to be about me as a stitcher. So even though my business name is in my title, I don't want like if I send you something as a gift, I'm not doing it because I want you to plug my business. I'm doing it as from one stitcher to another, like anybody else sends you a gift. It's just me sending a gift because that's what I have on hand. So don't think that you have to plug it, if that makes sense. I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it because I genuinely like you and I want to send you a gift. And that's what we do as stitchers. We all do it. So yeah. I think that's about it. I'm going to go through and edit this now. I don't think I have anything to insert. I didn't say I needed to insert pictures or anything. I don't even think I need to edit it. I don't even think I will. I'll just put it straight up because this seemed to go nicely. I hope you enjoyed meeting Puff. That little lizard means the absolute world to me. I can't even tell you. If you are on my Facebook, on my personal Facebook, you will know. Even on my business page and group, everybody loves Puff. But that little lizard is my world. Sorry, Lizzie. I've got the frilled neck lizard in here and I just told her that she's not my favourite. She doesn't care. So I'm going to leave it at that. And until the next video, I have seen these 20 random facts. I don't know if I'll do that. I was going to do all these other tag things. I never got around to doing them. So I don't know. I don't know what will happen. Jimmy, if you want to interview me. I'm up for that. I think it'd be hilarious. And I want to see every friggin' episode that you do. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to head out, go back and do some work or some stitching, unpack some parcels and get others packed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.